Hi guys, so this is my long-awaited 100 subscriber celebration Q&A. I originally filmed it as part of my bookshelf tour, and then when I tried to edit it all, I realized that the video is going to be like an hour and a half long, which is way too long. So I decided to split that up into a separate video. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to me. I know that this video is a little late. So right now I think I have around 160 subscribers, which is even more than I imagined. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel and who enjoys listening to the things that I have to say and talking to me about books. So here are some answers to your questions that you had about me. The first one was, if you could shapeshift into an animal, which one would you choose and why? And as per usual for most of my answers, I have multiple. So when I was a kid, I was like a horse kid. I loved horses. So being a horse would be super awesome. I always imagined them as free and majestic and just being able to like run across like the mountains in the Southwest in America, like being all free. I don't know if anyone's seen Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. It was an animated movie from when we were kids. That's what I imagine it would be like. My second one would probably be a giraffe, because giraffes are awesome. And if you've ever seen a giraffe fight, they like whip their necks around and like smack each other with their heads, and they can kill lions. Like, giraffes are awesome. So giraffes are really cool, and they look so derpy. I love them. But the one that I probably would most like to be, if I really could shapeshift, would probably be a tardigrade. And I don't know how many of you know what a tardigrade is. So, quick science lesson. Tardigrades, otherwise known as water bears, are micro animals, and they were actually discovered back in the 1700s, and they're so cool. I will put a picture up here. They look kind of weird and creepy, but also sort of cute. And tardigrades are amazing. They can live at very high pressures and very low pressures. They can survive trapped in ice for years. They can survive in the vacuum of space, like actually in space they can survive. Like, tardigrades are pretty much almost immortal. They can be killed, but like pretty much immortal. They're so cool. They can also withstand radiation. Like I said, they were discovered by a German zoologist, and so he named them Little Water Bear. And I'm not going to try to say it in German because I'll embarrass myself attempting that, but I'll put the name up here too. So tardigrades are awesome. I actually have like a tote bag that has a tardigrade on it, and it says, live tiny, die never. And I love it. And when people like know what it is, I get really excited. So number 2 is create a humorous love triangle with fictional characters, with the caveat of do not say Vin and the Lord Ruler. Now, I remember this question was asked by Katrina. Only she would come up with something silly like this. And so this is the one I had to think about the most. It's like, what would I want? I don't know what I would want in this crazy thing. And I was trying to think about the most ridiculous characters I know, and I thought about Lavender Brown from Harry Potter. Like, she's just so weird. She's not like Luna Lovegood weird. She's like creepy weird. So my idea was Lavender Brown is gonna slip Cassius Bologna and Adolin from Stormlight Archive some love potions because she wants to watch them duke it out over her hand. And like Cassius and Adolin like love struck because of some crazy potion would be hilarious. And then I can imagine them like in a dueling ring together because they're both so good at dueling. But it wouldn't just be them fawning over Lavender and fighting. It would also be Hoyd and Peeves like together doing crazy commentary on this battle. And I think it would just be so much fun to watch, to bring characters from all 3 of these worlds together. I don't know how many people have read the exact 3 series that I have mentioned, but yeah, I think that would be crazy. Cassius is from Red Rising. I forgot to mention that for those of you who are like, I don't know what that name is. So Harry Potter, Red Rising, and Stormlight Archive. I would love to see that happen. It would be very funny. Question number 3 is, what is your favorite fantasy map? And this one is actually kind of easy for me. So I have an old school map that I really love, and then I have a more modern fantasy map that I love. And old school map, guys, you cannot go wrong with any of the Lord of the Rings maps, but specifically the map from The Hobbit. This was my copy from when I was in junior high. But come on, you see it? You just can't get much more classic than this map. Hand-drawn, beautiful. It's not even super detailed, but it's just so classic and nostalgic, and it makes me happy. And I love the little drawing of Smaug. If I were to get a dragon tattooed on me ever, I'd probably get this little Smaug dude. Love him. And then my modern map, actually, I am waiting to get this framed. I'm going to be putting it on my wall. But that's the map of Roshar from the Stormlight Archive. It is beautiful, and fun factoid, it is actually based on a mathematical formula. That's how Brandon Sanderson got the shape of this. And so I have a feeling that this formula is going to come up over and over again in the Cosmere, just because that's how Sanderson works, and he does crazy things like fractal math and stuff in his stories. So I love both of those maps. I am a sucker for a really good map, and as I've said in other videos, I really, really, really just like it when there are no maps. So I appreciate a very good map. Question 4. This one was Pete, I remember. If you could be a Pokemon, which would you be? And is it different than your favorite? And why, if yes? This is a very detailed question. So if I could be a Pokemon, which one would I be? If I could choose to be a Pokemon, I would obviously want to be Chansey. Specifically Nurse Joy's Chansey, because she's like the doctor Pokemon, and she gets to go around helping and saving and taking care of all the other Pokemons, and she's so cute and adorable, and I love her. But if it was based on my personality, I'd probably be Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff is sassy and sarcastic and a little dramatic, and she can sing. I love Jigglypuff. She's always one of my favorites when I was growing up. I remember having like a holographic Jigglypuff card, and every time she would sing and make people fall asleep, and then she'd draw all over their faces, and I just thought it was hilarious. So my favorite Pokemon though is Munchlax. And Munchlax is the baby form of Snorlax. I'll put a picture up over here. Munchlax is the cutest thing ever, and Munchlax eats 20 hours a day. I just think that's hilarious. So Munchlax eats all day, and then when Munchlax evolves into Snorlax, Snorlax is gigantic because Munchlax was just eating all day for however long it took for it to evolve, and then Snorlax sleeps for 20 hours a day. And I just love Munchlax. And the name Munchlax is so cute. Like, it's just so cute. And I'll stop saying it, because you know when you say the same thing over and over again and then the word like starts losing its meaning to you? That's what's happening right now. Question number 5. What's your next fantasy-inspired tattoo going to be? Oh, and they said they love my Stormlight tattoo. Thank you very much. I love it too. I have a couple like things in my head that I want to do. One that I quasi have half started, and that is on my left arm. I'm going to be doing a Harry Potter sleeve. It's going to be a half sleeve, so it's going to end at my elbow, or maybe 3/4. I have a tattoo on my forearm already, so I don't want it to be too close to that. But on my back, I have Hogwarts crest that's done in watercolor, and I also have the Deathly Hallows symbol. And so I'm going to like start from my back and kind of go down my arm, and it's going to have all sorts of Harry Potter things on it. The one thing I really, really want is on the back of my arm, I'm going to have the dark mark for sure. And then right on the inside of my arm, I have a scar right here, and I want to cover it up with an umbrella, like a closed umbrella. And so the whole tattoo is going to be done in watercolor, but it's going to be the main 4 colors of the 4 houses. And then the umbrella is going to be done in pink. And so anyone who is a Harry Potter fan knows that Hagrid's wand was snapped in half, and it was placed so cleverly by Dumbledore inside of this pink umbrella. And so Hagrid can occasionally do magic, even though he's not supposed to because he was expelled from Hogwarts. So I just thought that would be a fun little thing. And then other than my Harry Potter sleeve, I want to do more Cosmere stuff. So I want to add some allomantic symbols somewhere, and I want to get the flower from Warbreaker because Warbreaker is my favorite. The one that I'd really like to do the most, and it would be something that probably would just mean something to me. I don't think many people outside of the Brandon Sanderson Cosmere community would understand. But there's a story called The Dog and the Dragon. And I would really like my artist to draw something that brings that scene to life. And I really want it to say, "You will be warm again." And so if you've read that story, you will know how powerful those words are and what those mean. And as someone who has dealt with depression in their life, like, that part of the book meant so much to me. And so I would really like to get that inked on me, just because the tattoos that I have are very meaningful to me. If you haven't seen my Stormlight tattoo, it has the first ideal on it, which is life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. And that quote is something that's really important to me and something that I think of when I'm living my life outside of my reading life. So I would like to get a dog and a dragon tattoo at some point. Okay, question number 6. If you could travel to any fictional world, which one would it be and why? Now, this is kind of a tricky question because there are a lot of urban fantasies that I love, which means that I wouldn't actually have to leave Earth. It would just kind of be an altered version of Earth. But most fantasy worlds are not necessarily good. Lots of bad things tend to happen. I mean, that's how you get action for your story, and places tend to be dangerous and stuff like that. So if you had asked me, I don't know, 10 years ago, my first immediate answer, and probably my strongest answer now, would be Hogwarts. Just take me to Britain and put me in the middle of Harry Potter. Like, I would be happy with that. I could be a Muggle-born. I could know all about the internet. I could, surprise all of my classmates and be like, "I'll teach you how to text message." It would be the best of both worlds. But if I had to pick an actual different world, I think it would be really fun to end up on the Discworld. I know I haven't read many of those books, but it's just so exciting, and there's so many parts to the Discworld that I just think that would be really cool. Another one that I'd really like is actually from the Wayward Children series. So that series is about portal worlds, and so there are so many different places that people go to, and a lot of them are scary, and a lot of the worlds are dangerous, and some of them are just crazy. Like, there's one called Confection where everything is made of candy, and that's really fun. It's like a candy land, but it's also kind of dangerous. But my favorite world that they go to so far in the books is a place called the Goblin Market. And it's this crazy place as all sorts of people from all sorts of worlds have been brought to this place and come together. And it's all about exchanging things for fair value. And that's like the theme of the whole book, is whatever you give to someone, you get back exchange and fair value. And so you learn what's worth exchanging for other things. So it could be physical, like actual goods. It could be favors. It could be service and actions. And you have to make sure that whatever you're giving and getting is equal in trade. And I just think that that's a fun concept, and the way that they bring it across in this book is really cool. And I would love to go to the Goblin Market and explore and hopefully become a slightly better person by learning and being able to determine and making sure that what I give and take from other people is fair. Because I think a lot of times people don't give and take in equal measures. And I mean, that's a fact of life. That just happens. That's how life works, is you care about people and you work with them through the give and take of your relationship with them. But I think the Goblin Market would be really fun as like the concept. So if you are interested in that, that is the 5th book, I think. We have the 4th or 5th book in the Wayward Children series, in An Absent Dream, and it's really fun. It is a standalone, so you don't have to read the rest of the story first. Question number 7. This is a question directed at Gregory LaPerch's Discord, and it says, what direction do you see the chaotic Discord familia heading in the near future? So if you're not a part of Greg's Discord, you won't understand this question. We may have accidentally created a mafia on this Discord, and my answer to this is, I believe we are going to branch out from the pizza trade into the cannoli business, where we will be able to fight and battle against Mike Pastries in Boston, and we are also going to be sponsoring a Blazeball team. So that is your official answer from the Don of your mafia. That is where we're headed. Question number 8 is, who is your favorite booktuber and why is it Greg? Who asked me this question? I don't actually think it was Greg. I don't want to pick favorites out of the people that I personally know and am friends with and communicate with on a daily basis. I'm not going to pick favorites out of you guys because I love you all. I will say that my personal favorite booktuber that introduced me to the world of booktube, who is a rather famous booktuber and I don't personally know, is going to be Elliot Brooks. I really love her channel. I still watch all of her videos. Her dog is freaking adorable, and I love the World Hoppers channel and all the things that she does to help donate to charity and teach people about things that are going on into the world. And she does some fact book recommendations sometimes, and I think she's just a really well-read and well-rounded person who has a lot to offer the community of booktube. And so I'm assuming everybody watching this video has already seen an Elliot Brooks video, but if you haven't, you should go check her out. And right here, pick up her book. I started reading this. I haven't finished it. I just wanted to kind of see how her prose was, and it sounds really good. So if you like her, you should definitely check out her book. Question number 9 is, who is your favorite fictional doctor? So I had been thinking about this previously because I was thinking about doing a video on fictional doctors, and unfortunately most of them are evil. You have Dr. Frankenstein, you have Dr. Moreau, you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, a lot of them are evil characters or villains in a story. You know, the crazy scientist or the crazy doctor doing the experiments on people. Like, it's very easy to vilify a doctor. But there are a couple of fictional physicians that I really enjoy. One of them being Nari from the David Bad trilogy, with her, I don't want to say much because I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't say any more, but Nari's character, she does become a physician and healer, and that is a major part of her story arc, and I really love that in the David Bad trilogy. And I also really, so the other one is Liren from the Stormlight Archive, who is Kaladin's father. And while I hate Liren, like, I do not like him as a character because he is not the best dad ever, does not win the Best Dad award. Those of you who have read the Stormlight Archive know what I'm talking about. But he does care about his patients, and Kaladin learns from his father the art of being a surgeon and being a physician, and the way that that arc plays out in the Stormlight Archive and how it touches on mental health. And you talk about, what does a physician want to do? What is a physician supposed to do? What is your number one thought and your number one goal being a doctor? And I think that's done really well in the Stormlight Archive, and like the heart of being a doctor is shown. And so I really love them as fictional doctors. And then the bonus question for that is, who's your favorite real life doctor? And I was trying to think of some like famous doctor to talk about, and then I realized that my favorite doctor is my mentor. So before I went to grad school, I was working as a medical scribe. If you know what a medical scribe does, they go in with physicians into the appointments and they type all the notes on the computer and make the chart up. And so I basically was just shadowing a doctor and writing all his charts and getting paid to do this awesome job and learn all these things. And my mentor's name is Dr. Tan. He's a cardiologist back in Michigan, and I love him so much. I owe him so much for teaching me and for helping me learn what being a doctor is all about. And so he is my favorite person who is a physician. He is this tiny little Filipino man, and he loves karaoke. And when he found out that I could sing, he decided that he would bring his karaoke machine to clinic. And so all the time after work, we would go into the auditorium in the hospital and we would set up his karaoke machine and we would karaoke together. And it was just so much fun. And so on my last day of work there, he was like, we're going to do the karaoke thing. And then all of the nurses and all of the medical assistants and the other doctors in the clinic came and we all like sang and did karaoke. And it was really fun. So I miss him so much. So he's my favorite real life doctor. Next question. Question number 10 is what is the best / your favorite book to movie adaptation? And I would say, like, everyone says Lord of the Rings, and I mean, they're kind of right. As far as, like, amazing adaptations, Lord of the Rings is just so good. I know they added a couple things, and the sticklers and the purists will say, no, it's not right, but I really loved it. I've read Lord of the Rings. I thought it was done so well. Peter Jackson is genius. The Hobbit does not count. The Hobbit movie adaptations suck. Whatever. But outside of the Lord of the Rings, I really, really, really loved the movie version of Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I know that there are a lot of subtle changes in the story, but I feel like the movie version that they created is so much more action-packed, and I feel like it wraps up the story a little bit better than the book did, and it's just so much fun. If you haven't seen Stardust, you should watch the movie. Question number 11. What are the books that you'll read when you'll hit milestones? Oh God. I don't have like specific books picked out. I know Grace Dion and I were talking on Alan's Discord, and some of the guys on there had mentioned that there was this list of these like ridiculous paranormal or fantasy like smutty romance books that were like the equivalent of like a Harlequin romance, only fantasy. And so I looked at a couple of those, and there's, oh God, they're awful. There's one that was titled, like, The Snow Leopard's Lover or something. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up there. But it just seems, like, absolutely bonkers. And so maybe one of those, or my friend who was over, she had some ideas for what I would have to read if / when I lose one of my like challenge videos that I want to do. And so there's some crazy like sci-fi books. I think Ice Planet Barbarians is the name of them, and I do not want to read that book. I do not want to read that book. For something that would be actually challenging and enjoyable for me, I thought about reading Shogun. I have a copy that was my dad's, and he really loved that book, and I have yet to read it because I have not read a lot of Asian-inspired historical fiction, and so I'd really like to try Shogun, and so that one might be one of the ones I do for one of my earlier milestones, where I might want to do something fun instead of something absolutely bonkers crazy. So we'll see. I'll probably, I don't know, ask you guys in the Discords to help me choose, so you can help torture me when that time comes. Question 12. This is a serious question. What is something you wish more people understood about the medical world? And so when I was thinking about the answer to this question, I thought about all these clinical things. I was like, oh, people could know this, and people should know this, and people should know that. And I was like, I don't really feel like I'm qualified to talk about that yet. And there's one thing about the world of medicine that I feel like sometimes patients and the general public and people who aren't medical professionals don't really think about, because you're so concerned about what's going on in your life, in your body, in your health when you go and visit a doctor, which is 100% what you should be doing, because that's the purpose of seeing a physician. But what would be nice for people to remember sometimes, and for people in medical education, is that doctors and nurses and everyone who's working to take care of you, they're people too. And what I'm saying specifically with this is that people struggle with the same things that doctors struggle with the same things that their patients struggle with. And what I'm specifically talking about is things like anxiety and depression and other mental health issues that affect how people live and survive and interact with the world. And I feel like in medical education and the medical field in general, doctors need to seem infallible. You're not supposed to show any weaknesses ever. And it can cause a very toxic environment for people to survive in and work in, and especially in this job where you need to not make mistakes ever. But when you can't take care of your own mental health because you have to hide it from your family, from your friends, from your coworkers, from your teachers, even as a student, like if you can't get help for those things, or you can't see a therapist, or you can't say, I am dealing with anxiety right now, I need to get treated for this so that I can have a functioning normal life, you can't practice medicine properly because you can't function properly. You're just not supposed to talk about that kind of stuff in this field. If you show weakness, they will attack you like piranhas, or every single decision that you make will be second guessed. And that's no way to live. I'm just really passionate about people being able to get the help that they need and be able to have a life where they can survive and be happy, because I think people would stay in the field longer if they were able to take care of themselves in that way. If you don't know, physicians have one of the highest suicide rates out of any job, really. I think veterinarians are up there too. It's not just from the compassion fatigue, which is a real thing. It's also from not being able to get help for depression and anxiety and other things that can cause those sorts of issues. So yeah, just remember that your doctors are people and that they can't be perfect all the time. And also, just because you're dealing with anxiety or something, it doesn't mean that you are less of a person. It doesn't mean that you are less capable of making decisions. It's not a weakness. It's not a weakness. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now. And the last question, which was lovingly sent in by Evie, is who's your favorite dog, Milla or Birdie? And that is such an unfair question. I wouldn't even know how to choose. They're both my girls. So I'm not going to choose, but what I can do is I can introduce you to them. So let me get them in here. Come here. So this one, hello, Cusie. This is Camilla, and she is 10 years old. Well, she'll be 10 in October. She is a mix. I have no idea what she is. I think she's part pit bull. She has the same coloring as my other dog, so it's like a weird double coat, almost like German Shepherd type thing, and she's very great now. But she is my little girl, and she's very, very soft, and she just likes to cuddle. She has that like pit bull personality where all she wants to do is just be near. I mean, look at her right now. She just wants love. So she's sweet. She was a rescue, and she was neglected when she was a puppy. Come here. And I don't know why you're being so shy, right? Oh, yes, I know you want pets. So she's wonderful, and I love her so much. And she's very cute, and she is not the smartest dog on the planet, but that's okay. And let me get my other dog in here. Oh, come here. You're just being a brat. This is Birdie. Hi, baby. I'm going to say hello to everyone. No. She has purple collars, so that's how you can tell the difference. And she is quite bigger. She's a lot taller, and she's actually 13 years old. She turned 13 in June. So she is pretty old for a dog her size, and I believe she is Lab German Shepherd mix. I also rescued her. I found her off of a Craigslist ad forever ago, and I just brought a friend with me. I was like, please come with me so I don't get murdered, and well, we go look at this dog, and she's wonderful. She was also abused. I don't know exactly what happened to her story, but she does not like loud noises, and she does not do well when people yell at her, so I had to learn how to, tell her no in a way that didn't scare her. And she likes having her paw held. So they're the sweetest things ever, and they're both old, and they just like to cuddle now. They used to be able to go on runs and go on really long hikes, but their just joints can't do it anymore. So, but these are my babies, and I'm not going to pick one. Evie, you cannot make me. I will not. So that was it for all the questions that you guys sent to me. I had a blast answering these. You guys are inventive and kind of picked a lot of things that I just love to talk about. So thank you guys for submitting those and for being subscribers to my channel. It really means a lot to me. I feel so grateful to have so many wonderful people who want to listen to what I say and talk with me about books because it's one of my favorite things in the world to do. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful night, and I will see you later. Bye.